GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
How we doing, folks? Good to have you. GloryDaze, the PJ and Jim podcast. I was actually thinking, I was wondering whether or not we should actually use our power for good.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So maybe this podcast could become an opportunity occasionally for us to solve the world's problems.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Or not, and we could start small. We could start with people's problems. We could actually maybe we'll do a podcast one day where we, act as like agony uncles.
Oh, yeah. If it's giving advice, because I don't actually want to do anything to help anyone.
Right.
Yeah, but if it's like giving, if we're just giving advice and all.
Yeah, because you know the way we've often celebrated the fact that you have, great life mottos.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That can save people a lot of aggravation and stuff like that. We often said you should be a motivational speaker.
Definitely. The wisdom of an idiot. Who doesn't need it? Plain thinking.
And like
even Shakespeare used fools to speak the truth, Yeah.
And so we could do maybe we'll seek out people who have dilemmas.
Yeah.
And because that's
a good idea, honestly.
And you could become a lot of those people that you've often spoken about in the past, like Dr. Phil.
Oh, yeah, God,
or the Dalai Lama or something.
Yeah, those people that give you terrible, useless advice, or Deepak Chopra, he's another one of them. Do you know that lad?
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra, literally the most statement of the obvious, the road to wisdom is through taking your time and learning. No shit, you fucking jackass. Just stuff, this stuff, you just say things a certain way, and then it's supposed to sound mystical and wonderful and all, and
And the other thing is, they have to do it. They have to play by the rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to kind of, be politically correct and, all of that sort of stuff, and can't promote anger or any of that. Whereas you'd have a free rein, really, to tell it like it is.
Well, you can shortcut a lot of this shit. That's what I find. There's this book, right? It's called The Alchemist by a fella called Paulo Coelho, right? And I read it, and it's the greatest crock of shite I've ever endured in my life. It is absolutely unbearable. So you're reading it, right? And it's about this fella. He goes on some fucking voyage of self-awareness. I'm going to go and find my place in the world. And I can't remember. The gist of it is he gets in everybody's way for years. This is going on. He's travelling around the world. Maybe this is where I belong. And I'm there all night. Don't go away with yourself, whatever it is. And then the end of the book, the big reveal. Now this is there's 160 pages of this shit or whatever it is. The big reveal is, I went home and found this was where the treasure of my happiness has always been. What a lot. You know what I mean?
I read that book.
Yeah.
And it's funny, as you said it, I was thinking to myself, what's that about again?
Yeah, there you go.
I knew it was meant to be, you're meant to read something into it, read between the lines or whatever, but I couldn't remember what it was. I was supposed
what the point, because it's such a flimsy point. But when you're reading it, he uses such colourful language, and then the journey of 1,000 men before me was to go to this place. And then you just think, right, so a fella went, that's, if you put that in modern day, it's getting on a bus. Do you know, you're getting...
And I love the way that those things, the ones that have the mad titles as well. There's loads of those kind of, that you're, there's that one, the monk who stole his Ferrari, or sold his Ferrari. Is
that a real book?
That's a real book. The monk who sold his Ferrari. And then there's that other one, Who Moved My Cheese?
There is not. Is that an actual... And that's supposed to be like a self-help book.
Yeah.
Who moved me cheese? This is it. Who looks at that and goes, this is going to change my life. Who moved me cheese? I've always wondered, if me cheese was in a different place, would I be a more successful person? Your life does not depend on cheese. It doesn't matter what. It's mental. These self-help books, and the worst ones are those, billionaires that release a book. Here's how I did it. You can do it too. No, they can't. You jammy fucking arsehole. You got timing. Timing.
Yeah, you've already done it.
Yeah, you did it.
You cornered the market on it. There's no room left for me.
So what am I going to do, Richard fucking Branson? I'm going to release a jumbo jet company called How's Your Ma's Tax for a Takeoff. No, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how much I dream about it.
Yeah.
You can give me all the time in the world. My timing isn't your timing.
Yeah.
And I don't have your money talent. People think they can just learn how to be entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
You can't. You're born to be an entrepreneur the same way you're born to be able to sing. You can't. You might be able to balance a lodger or whatever.
Yeah.
But you'll never be able to just turn into an entrepreneur.
Not to mention the amount of times we said, like, if everybody, you know the way they go, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. Anybody from any walk of life. You can do it. You can become a billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
If that was the case and we all became billionaires, who's going to do all the feckin' jobs we want done that we want to pay for?
But this
the
is
shitty jobs.
Yeah, the wasters. That's what I hate about these things as well. It implies that everybody who hasn't become a superhuman is basically a waster.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
You two, you are on local radio. Look, and hell, I'd be ashamed of that. You're not cracking the world. You know what I mean? You're like, why are you joking? Shut up! I'm doing my best, you shithead.
You see,
do me best.
That's the kind of self-help stuff. It's like, do you remember that time when we were talking about Dr. Phil? Right?
Yeah. What an arse.
And what was you were saying about, the way he always kind of seems to just, he blames men for everything.
He does. He knows his audience. He knows his audience are middle-aged white women in Texas. So,
you gave a specific piece. I can't remember what the problem was meant to be.
Yeah.
But your Dr. Phil advice was, set him on fire.
Set him on fire. It's ridiculous. And he turns everything around to be ridiculous. Like tell you, hey, my husband said he didn't like my coffee. And he's like,
Don't you understand when you tell your wife you don't like her coffee, what she hears is you're an ugly bitch?
You're like, that's not what he said. I just wasn't in here. I wanted a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a total...
Yeah, I was literally choosing tea instead of coffee.
Yeah,
that's all.
This is why I sleep in the car most nights. Because I can't handle the accusations.
Yeah. But you're right. No bullshit advice like set him on fire.
Yeah, set him on fire. Yeah, that's, just get out. Things are... Generally, everything has a simple answer to it. It's just very hard to
It'd be very interesting if you did have an agony uncle column in a newspaper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. So there'd be, the way a lot of the problems are really long. They go into all the details of, this and that happened and this and that, and speak like, whoa, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so like sometimes literally one question and one answer takes up a whole page or whatever. Whereas there'd be this huge question for you, and your answer would be, tell him to fuck off.
Or deal with it. So the way sometimes you
get over it, yeah.
Yeah, but just the way sometimes, and everyone goes, you never have to do it. Sometimes you're just in a you never see these things like you see people going, me and the missus were killing each other. Jesus, we fighting every day. And the kids are asking us to stop. We can't sit in the room, and they hate them. And then people advice is always the same: split up, go your separate ways. Don't worry, you can't live your life as slave. Just go. What about the fucking mortgage? And who's going to pay the bills? And where am I going to live?
They never put that bit in.
Here's the advice. If you're in a bad marriage and there's a big mortgage you can't afford, just buy a second telly and ignore each other.
Irish people have been able to do that for years.
Yeah, the Irish divorce.
Literally the Irish divorce, or divorce Irish style.
Yeah.
You occupy the same space.
Yeah.
You just
agree to a list of jobs in the house that one of you does, the other doesn't. Just live your life. We're all going to be miserable eventually. You just get the most out of it while you can. It's just what are you going to do? Eventually you're going to be walking down the road with a bad back wondering, why was it worth trying to fix it, or should I have just bought another telly? And I think...
Yeah, inspirational.
Inspirational,
That's absolutely fucking brilliant. Inspirational advice there.
You can be happy. I remember saying to some lads, can you be happy in prison? And he says, you can be happy anywhere. And I remember thinking, jeez, that's very poignant now, because I know I couldn't. So I was like, there's a fella now.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve success because he can be happy anywhere. But someone like me now, I deserve...
Yeah, I need the trappings. I need the trappings of wealth.
Yeah.
I need stuff to actually elevate me. I don't have it in me to find inner peace and happiness.
No, I'm too cranky. This philosophical Deepak Chopra reading murderer, he can find his way to happiness in a jail cell.
Yeah.
I need to fly first class and, drink champagne.
I need stuff to fill the void within me.
Exactly, yes. I need plastic surgery to get my ears level and You know, there's a lot of stuff. I have a hole in my
I
life.
want to pay people to universally adore me.
Yeah,
even if they're lying.
I have a
I'm
spiritual
prepared
hole.
for that.
The reason I hate the Dalai Lama is because I think he's a jammy bastard. You know, yeah.
Because he's making money out of this shit advice more than I am.
Yeah, I've loads of terrible advice I could be giving people. You know, and I don't even make it rhyme. You can understand this.
Oh, man.
Oh, there you go. If you don't feel better after seeing this, listen to this podcast, I don't know what's going to help you.
No, it's going to happen. I wonder, yeah. By the way, if you have any problems and you'd like the great PJ Gallagher to solve them, please feel free. You could probably drop us an email and I'm sure we could get around to it.
If you've got a problem and nobody else can solve it, maybe you should call.
No, your advice would be, if you've got a problem and nobody else can solve it, maybe you should just get fucking over it.
Get over it. Get a prescription. That's what I did.
Yeah. Go and have a jar.
I don't think. I'm actually not being serious, obviously, because considering it took a whole team of fuckers to get me straight. I
still think your advice would be, you know, I think it'd be worth hearing, if nothing else. It'd be worth hearing even if you chose to ignore it.
Yeah, definitely ignore it. Whatever I say, do the opposite is probably a good rule.
Come here, listen, we'll give you a few of the best bits from Jordan the Week, because we had some crack Jordan the Week on a few bits and pieces. There was, it started in a very strange way, talking about somebody's nuts. Somebody very specific now, not just any randomer.
And very specific nuts, because they're actually worth a fortune, as it turns out, or he thinks they are anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll get to hear about that. The man who literally insured his nuts for fortunes. Somebody who'll probably be well known to you. Also, we were talking about baby talk. Well, it started off talking about baby talk,
but then it got into sort of the intricacies of pet names and relationships.
Because it turns out that there's actually there's a common line there between
worldwide
between the way we talk to babies, dogs,
and our other
halves.
Yeah.
When you hear PJ's pet name,
I actually missed that. I miss being called it, I'll be honest with you.
Actually, speaking of names, we had a great segment during the week where there are genuine like gangster names.
Yeah.
Men who are meant to be feared, men who are meant to be kind of criminals and killers.
And they just have the greatest names. Like, you know what I mean? These are the fellas now who wouldn't be happy in prison.
No.
Not with names like this, because no one would take them seriously.
Absolutely. That's on the way. And then Leitrim will be happy this week. That's all I'm saying. Leitrim will be happy because it was off the hook.
Finally.
PJ didn't have a go at Leitrim this week. The mantle passed to Longford.
Yeah, good old Longford. Famous for... Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Right, have a little listen. We'll talk to you on the other side.
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
I thought it was just us these days that had gangsters called, like, the monk, the penguin, the whatever they call them.
One thing about it is, the amount of them that are called fat somebody or other.
There's loads of that, yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? If you're talking about a gangster,
I know,
you'd imagine you wouldn't want to annoy them. So calling them fat somebody or other is probably not the best way to go if you're a journalist.
I would have thought Healthy Terry would have been a good name for a gangster.
Handsome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Handsome or well-groomed, well-dressed.
Like the old one, Old Dickie Blue Eyes or whatever. Back in the day they had those names.
Yeah.
But somebody has categorised and put down a list of the actual names of gangsters, mafiosi
like
gangsters.
Genuine, proper, back-in-the-day gangsters.
And guys who are still around today and still in prison and stuff. And I can't believe these are scary people when I read the names. Like, for instance, Joey Bananas Banano is one of them. He does not sound like a threatening guy.
Bananas Banano.
Joey Bananas Banano.
He sells like a lad who has an ice cream shop. Or a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, doesn't he? Yeah. And never mind that. I mean, imagine getting threatened by Ice Pick Willie. Ice Pick Willie. He's out. It's literally like give us $2.99 in a screwball. It
sounds like a character from The Simpsons. It's like groundskeeper Willie.
In fact, it's really hard to know if these are children's TV presenters or genuine gangsters.
But are they genuine gangsters? These are people who have actually been.
Oh, these are guys who've been convicted. Yeah, properly.
Convicted gangsters.
Yeah, cockeyed Louie. I mean, he'd never catch you. You know?
Yeah, I'm assuming he wasn't a hitman.
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
not.
he wasn't a sniper with a name like Cockeyed.
Yeah, imagine Louis Cockeyed. Cockeyed Willie Fratto. Cockeyed Louis Fratto. I beg your pardon.
Oh my God.
And if he was after you, and imagine you got away from him, and then George the butter ass the Chico got you, you'd be absolutely mortified then. Imagine.
They call him the butter ass.
George the butter ass the Chico. Yeah, imagine and as for Anthony Whack Whack Indelaquito, I mean Whack Whack Indelaquito. That sounds like something like you should be doing in the privacy of your room.
I sound.
Whack Whack Indelaquito.
I assume there's something being lost in translation.
Maybe. I really don't know.
Do you think they ever turn around and say to each other, listen, why I got to be called butter ass? Why you got to call me butter ass? It's embarrassing in front of all these people. You're going to call me butter ass. What are you doing? You think you're bad? I'm called Whack Whack.
Yeah.
I got to go around getting Whack Whack all the time.
You think Whack Whack is bad? What about if your name was Angelo Quack Quack Ruggiero? Quack Quack Ruggiero.
Oh my God.
It just gets better. And then there's
everybody duck. Here comes Quack Quack.
I know. And then there's Willie Potatoes Dadano. The names are brilliant. Pat the Cat, Joey the Goat Brogy. Like, it's just... and then there's Peter Horseface Livaloni. Livaloni. And that's his real name.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, he could have been there, call me anything just to get away from Livaloni. Okay, Horseface. Well, maybe a better one than that.
Livaloni.
Yeah, Tony Horseface Livaloni. Peter Horseface.
It's understandable why you'd be Livaloni if you got a face like a horse.
It's understandable why you turn to gangsterism, I suppose. Then there's Frank Chi Chi DeMayo, which sounds like a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'll have the number 5, the Chi Chi DeMayo with cheese, please.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. Harry the Hump, Carmine the Flopsy Flanga.
The Flopsy.
Yeah, it's great. Joey Socks Lanza. I mean, it just goes on and on. Giuseppe the Clutch Hand Morello. The Clutch Hand Morello. Like, what's he famous for? He must have been just serious handshakes or something like that, you know?
I see there's one there called Louis Eggs.
Is that one of the real ones? Yeah. Louis Eggs.
Louis Eggs. Concivano or something, or Concivano.
Some of them are like that Louis Egg. Some you'd wonder where they got the name from.
Yeah, but he's an actual crony as opposed to a phony.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
That's one of the real ones. Yeah, But check out this guy. This is my favourite one of the whole lot. Right. Salvatore Sammy singing in the night Catalanotti. It's an album.
That rolls off the tongue. Yeah. He should be a lounge singer.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's like one of those. If you buy, not available in the shops, but if you call now and get Salvatore's Semi singing in the night's Catalanotti's album, we'll give you a free oven mitt or a shotgun.
It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim
on Radio Nova.
Big story in the news today that apparently Longford has the highest number of prison admissions. Yeah, sorry, speak up there.
The highest rate of imprisonment than any other county in Ireland, yeah.
Which for a small rural county, it came as by. Well, it didn't just come as a surprise to PJ and myself. John Lonergan,
who's the governor of Mountjoy, or was the previous governor. He
was even surprised by it. He said,
"Yeah, seems like he was well." Yeah.
So we were struggling with a few things. We were curious as to what the likely crimes were in Longford, not knowing a great deal about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. PJ went for cattle rustling and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it could be anything, you know.
Be anything. And then we were struggling kind of for what it's famous for and famous people, because we genuinely don't know a lot about it, do we?
Dog food is something it's famous for, and centre parks.
Yeah,
that's.
Now, do you remember Piff said that, or somebody else? Maybe it wasn't Piff that told us, was it? No, maybe it wasn't. But somebody said that Mel Gibson was named after a cathedral in Longford.
Yeah,
and Piff has been on to say that's actually true.
I can't swallow that.
That his mother, Anne Patricia Riley, came from County Longford.
Yeah. But hold on.
One of they had 11 children, one of which was named after Saint Mel of Ardagh, a nephew of Saint Patrick, and a saint associated with Anne's hometown.
Yeah, so he's named after Saint Mel, not after the building in Longford. Do you know what I mean?
Look, tomato.
That's like St. Patrick's Church. I'm Patrick. I'm not named after the church. I'm named after the saint.
Here, somebody's dad was Patrick Flynn, and he was the first sports editor of the Evening Press newspaper, and he came from Ballymahan in County Longford.
Well, stop the lights. The Evening Press.
Kevin's dad.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I don't mean to cast. I'm sure your dad was a lovely man. I have no doubt about it. I'm sure he's a great man. But a celebrity...
a very well-known man.
Well, okay. Right. I'm not saying anything about a man's father.
Anto's been on. Say, he sent us a little thing there. This is probably from... Oh, it's from Discover Ireland. Longford's main attraction is the Corlea Trackway, a unique wooden road through the boglands, dating from 148 BC.
Well,
famous people include the former Argentinian president, Adel Miro O'Farrell. There was an Argentinian president called
Adel Miro O'Farrell. There you go. And by the way, I looked up Longford earlier on, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought that one of its famous attractions was the Corliss Takeaway, I thought that said. And I was like, my God.
If you're famous for a chipper.
Your whole town is famous. Have you tried the Corliss?
I'll tell you something.
They do the best Longford chicken and fries the world has ever seen.
Mickey's been on to say, morning boyos, I lost my virginity in Longford at the back of the Fountain Blue, wherever that is.
Oh God, I wondered did they call it the Blue Fountain after what happened there?
Maybe that was it.
Bit of a bluey round by the fountain, 1987.
And here, check this one out. Somebody's saying Peter Check just graduated from Longford College.
No, he didn't.
I don't know. Somebody's had to send it in there.
What do you study at Longford College?
I've no idea.
I want to go to Longford College.
And come here, listen, the bomber's been on.
Oh, for God's sake.
But here's an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
You know, he maintains, now bear in mind what the story that brought all of this up was, right? The crime kind of thing, you know, the prison admissions and whatever. And he, according to the bomber, your man Paul Williams, you know, the guy who's the
crime guy.
The crime correspondent guy.
Yeah.
Is from Longford.
Really?
There you go. So that's where he got his start, maybe. Reporting on local sheep rustling and stuff.
Yeah, it's an unfair advantage, though, you know, saying you're famous from Longford when there's only 6 of you in the first place. You're bound to get a look in, you know.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah. It's an interesting collection, though, isn't it? Former Argentinian president.
Yeah.
The crime correspondent from one of the papers.
Yeah, and the guy who owns the Corliss Takeaway. I'll tell you something. Stop the lights. If that's not the holy trinity of tourism right there, I don't know what is.
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
You know the way we all do baby talk? We do it to our other halves. We do it to babies, obviously, and we do it to animals and pets and stuff. You know, look at you to be. Oh, you know, all that other stuff.
I love the way you start to sound like your man from Rainbow whenever you do that sort of stuff. You would do, George.
Look at you pretty little.
What do you say, Bungle?
Oh, Bungle, look at you hurt your finger. You hurt your little finger. Yeah, well, they've done a study, and it seems that baby talk, essentially doing that, no matter what the language, anywhere in the world, it's the exact same. We all transform our voices like that when we want to speak to infants and pets and for some reason our other half, I guess we've all done it, you know.
Yeah.
You're an adult. You know the way you're an adult? Drive a car and all. You can do the shopping and get up and go to work and the whole lot. You come back and then you hurt your elbow off a press and you're there going,
Really, do you?
yeah, and then she'd be there going, oh, you poor little pig. The little piggy hurt his elbow. You know?
She referred to you as your poor little piggy.
I think that's been a nickname, little piggy.
That's a bit harsh.
I liked it. Hey, my little fat piggy hurt his elbow. Ooh,
So you're saying that all over the world,
Yeah.
everybody turns into that person.
That person.
When they're talking to a baby or a pet.
Yeah.
Or their other half.
Yeah, everybody does it. I do it all the time.
Surely you don't do it as much with you'd like, surely at some stage in your life you stop going to, like, if you ever said to your other half, I mean, surely you just think you'd lost your mind.
No, well, you don't do it right away. Like, you don't have a one-night stand and go, would you like me to make a breakfast?
Would you like a little leg?
You look at you, make a little egg and soldiers, do. You don't do that. That's insane.
Actually, to be honest with you, you're creeping me out now a bit.
Yeah, well, there you go, yeah. You know, it's weird. But if you know someone ages, then you start to have funny little pet names for each other and all
so
of that.
So in France, it's and
Just a little
but
G.
ultimately it's the same gist.
The same gist, yeah, the same sort of gist, yeah.
Wow. Makes you wonder why we don't just use that. You know the way they tried to. Remember, there was the time they tried to make a universal language, Esperanto, and they thought this language would supersede all other languages, and the whole world would speak it.
That was the idea.
Died of death.
Yeah, of course it did. Stupid idea.
But if we're already using baby language, why don't we just do that?
I think we should.
You could then when they all arrive at the UN, all the diplomats, they could all walk up to each other and go, if
they did it to the little countries, wouldn't that be great? I'd like to welcome everyone here, all the people from Germany and France, the United States. It's great to have you here. Little Ireland. Luxembourg.
Oh, you look so cute.
Oh, Latvia, you little sea. You silly little country.
Yeah. There again, somebody saying, if I spoke to my husband like that, I'd be signing my divorce papers. To be fair, yeah. I'm not sure that, yeah.
I don't know, I like it. And all the pet names. I've had some really weird pet names. Actually, one pet name, I don't know if I should say it. It was affectionately, she called me Shady Pants. And
affectionately?
Yeah. She was,
right, okay.
Like, hey, you did, Shady Pants. I used to get it all the time. Hey, Shady Pants. Yeah, this was the kind of thing, right? Yeah. And then she would write it on text messages and all. Yeah, she would write like, I'll see you later. You Shady Pants. Yeah. And that was a thing. And she set up me profiles.
It's just worrying that it had to come from somewhere.
Well, no, just because, there'd be a bit of fat to go on and all. And then she set up my Netflix account and all. She set it up with the name Shitty Pants on it, And then she got so used to it. She was on the phone to her ma. And she was there saying, no, I'm on the home. And her ma says, love you. And she goes, yeah, see you later, Shitty Pants.
It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
There's a long-standing tradition, right, of famous sorts ensuring the thing that has made them famous sorts.
Michael Flatley famously did it.
With his feet?
Yeah, back in the day when $1 million was still seen as a lot of money. He insured his feet for £1 million. And
you get the singers who'll do their voices, maybe, because if they lose their voice, they lose their livelihood.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe it might be footballers, maybe, who... their legs or something.
Some insurance on their body parts, whatever. But it's gone a step further this morning. John Fury, who is Tyson Fury's father, has insured his nuts for £10 million because he says that is the value of... I don't really want to say certain words. The value of fathering a world heavyweight champion. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
That what he can do, what he can produce... is worth at least £10 million. If he was to be put out to stud, he'd be worth that, Yeah,
see, the interesting thing about that sentence is the word if. If he was to be put out to stud, as in, he's contemplating the idea that he's going to get offers.
Well, I don't know, maybe he's contemplating having... Yeah, maybe him and his...
Is he planning more children?
Maybe this is like his way of putting himself on the market.
Because I don't think he's a young man, is he?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. It doesn't say his age. Maybe he deliberately is hiding his age, in case someone wants to make a deal. You might. Because he's got 3 sons who are all professional fighters. Tyson Tommy Roman. Roman just got into the fight game. He was a rugby player. He got into it over the weekend, apparently. And the quote from... John Fury, the father, is, I've insured me nuts, these are his words, for 10 million. He says, believe me, I can't read that sentence, but he goes, I've got world champion nuts in my trousers. I could breed some kings, I could. There's only champions that grow from my nuts, and that's been proven, hasn't it? All my sons can fight. Not just Tyson. That's a direct quote from him.
You see, normally when people do something like this, it's while they're actively pursuing their career. So like I say, if you're a singer, you need your voice. If your voice was going to go, so you insure it just in case because you're still making your money. Flatley with his feet, you know what I mean, while he was dancing and stuff like that. The John Fury thing's a bit different, really, isn't it?
It is, actually.
Like it's not. He's basically comparing himself to like a thoroughbred horse
or something.
Yeah,
maybe we could all get in on that. Maybe I've got comedy nuts. Maybe we could do something like that where we could sort of, sell off.
Comedy nuts. That's
Maybe comedy nuts. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe.
So, what's your slogan? My nuts are a joke.
Yeah, my nuts are a joke, and anyone that wants in, no problem. Do you want a child who won't have a normal job, won't finish school, and talks rubbish for a living? Come get some of my comedy nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, who knows,
But because insuring it sort of implies that, he intends to make money from it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, of course. And I don't know who's going to come to him looking for that. I don't think anyone's going to come saying, I'm looking for a 9-foot son.
I was hoping to breed
Yeah, I'm looking for a 9-foot son. You can punch people in the face. Don't worry about it. I have it covered. If that's what you want, just go get a bear,
Yeah.
Not that it's easy to get a bear, but...
Yeah, and the whole mating process would probably be slightly more difficult.
James.
To be fair.
I can't imagine it being very safe.
No, unlikely.
I don't practice safe sex. I've just had a son with a bear. But I know what you mean. It implies that he's setting up a business or something, and maybe he is making lodgements to a bank,
right,
maybe that's a sort of a thing.
Yeah,
because there is that people that pay for that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think do they give it? Is that true that you go to those banks and there's you pick off the father's attributes? Is that actually a thing?
I don't know.
Scientists, good looking.
Oh right,
them Jim McCabe. Oh, I'd love to have a son with a woody back, or
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
There we go. Some of the best bits from Morning Glory during the week, and also, of course, don't forget that bit at the start, just in case you tuned in specifically for the best bits. If you decided to skip the front bit, you don't know the level of advice you've missed out on.
You've missed out there now.
It was quality. It was.
Yeah. There's going to be lads out there, 21 years old with a comb over, missing out, aging before their time because they haven't taken some fantastic advice.
Has anybody the way people always look for advice?
Yeah.
Everybody's asking for advice. They want advice on everything. And has there ever been any good stuff?
No.
Because lads in particular, they ask mates for advice.
Yeah.
That's got to be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it really does depend on your mate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. But I never ask for advice. Just ask for affirmation. That's what I always feel.
Yeah, just tell me I'm right.
Yeah, can you just tell me I'm right? So at least when I make a mistake, it's your fault.
Just something to let me off the
hook.
hook.
Affirmation. Yeah. And I love that about a lot. Lads will always affirm things for you. Always, no matter what. You're out with your friends. I have to get up to work in the morning. Yeah, fair play to you. You've done all right. I'm glad to hear. And you're like, fuck, I deserve a day off. Yeah, you do deserve it. Come on, we get locked to be better off. Fuck them anyway. That's affirmation.
Yeah, because that's all you do.
Whatever.
As a bloke, all you do is you read the room about what it is, and you just go with it.
What do you think? What's the feeling in the room at the time?
Yeah. God forbid you'd actually stand up and be a lone voice in it. So where's the joy in that?
Yeah, I think me and the missus are breaking up. Yeah, so what can you do about it? Terrible thing. Get out of there. Live your life, man. Yeah, next day we're actually going to work through it. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear.
I'm very fond of her.
Yeah, very. So I always liked her. To be honest, she's the only reason I hang around with you. If you do leave her, give us her phone number. Or some such.
Some such advice. Yeah. Anyway, listen. I think we've sorted out those few problems of the world. For
Definitely,
1 week.
yeah.
I think we've done our job here. Our work is done. PJ, let us go.
Let's go, Dr. Filth. We got the world to make better.
You've been listening to GloryDaze, the best of Radio Nova's Morning Glory with PJ and Jim. Catch the show live weekdays 6 to 10 on FM, online at nova.ie, or on the Nova app.